Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is March 27th, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see our deep low pressure center. It is now starting to fill and occlude, but it is a pretty strong low out there. A pretty good frontal system through this morning. Some gusty winds out there, some rainfall, and we have the potential for a couple thunderstorms here across some of the region over the next few days. You can see all the cold air associated with this storm system here, and this is going to be with us for a couple days. It's going to sit and spin and fill right off our coastline here, and then it's going to drop off down to the south, and then we may start to warm up a bit through the extended forecast. We'll take a look at that in some of the weather models as we go through the video this morning, taking a look at the Doppler radar overlay. Now, if I back this up, you can see that frontal systems that moved in as we went through last night and early this morning, and all the rainfall associated with it. And there's the thunderstorm potential with the cold air cumulus, and you can see the low pressure center there, kind of right abeam Washington State. So if we take a look at CTAC yesterday, right around average, 55 degrees, 56 is now the average for this time of year, and nowhere near that record high set back in 1969 of 70. Trace rainfall amounts, but we're definitely going to have some rainfall to add to the rain bucket as we go through the day today. It's been raining much of the morning, as I mentioned. And looking at Seattle, you can see they do have that thunderstorm threat for today. There could be another thunderstorm around some of the area here through Thursday, or maybe even on through Friday, and then that gradual warm up as we go towards the end of the weekend and on through early next week. Here is that thunderstorm risk. This is just recently updated. It is now includes Spokane, Pendleton, Portland, Seattle, Eugene, and Medford. And so, yeah, heads up, eyes on the sky today, you guys. You might catch a lightning strike out there. And of course, if you want to be safe when thunder roars, go indoors. This is for tomorrow. It does still include some of the coastal areas here, and this may get an upgrade as well. There's still some lightning showing up across some of the Seattle, Portland area for tomorrow as well. And if we look at the European model here, let's scroll through what potentially could be happening as we go through the day today. This is about 4 and 5 p.m. and this afternoon. You can kind of see that threat for Western Washington, Western Oregon, maybe across from Vancouver Island here as well. And then as we scroll up into tonight, into tomorrow morning, we destabilize a bit again, and we could have another thunderstorm around, as you can see, so that potential around Western Washington or Western Oregon. We'll go through Friday here now also. You can see we're still going to have some cold air aloft around the area, but probably the chances of thunderstorms waning by the time we go into Friday and then on into Saturday. If I show you Saturday afternoon, you can see the definite decline in the thunderstorm potential there. And if you want a nice affordable home weather station, click on the link down below to save 10% off. All solar powered, all wireless, ultrasonic anemometer. Haptic rain gauge can send you a notification when it starts raining at your house or when you get lightning strikes. Great smartphone app as well. Now looking at the European on the left versus the GFS on the right, there is our low pressure center there, and it's going to fill right off our coastline there. So it's going to be with us through probably Friday before that energy drops down and impacts California. And then we start to look off into the extended, and you can kind of see the ridge starting to nose in here that may start to warm us up as we go towards the early portion of next week. Now, looking at the composite reflectivity, I'm going to scroll ahead a bit here, and this is about right where I'm speaking now, about 10 a.m. You can see the front is passing through, and the showery activity behind it as we go through the afternoon hours. And some of these, again, could have a lightning strike or two associated with them, maybe some small hail and some gusty winds. And you see the frontal system pushing off to the east as we go through tonight. And again, tomorrow, another day, eyes on the sky. Watch out for that thunderstorm potential there as these showers are going to be moving through on through the day tomorrow. And then you can see Friday morning wrapping up those showers as we go on into Friday afternoon, but you still can't rule out some stray showers, especially across the higher terrain in the Cascades. Now, taking a look at 100-meter wind speed on the European, we did have some gusty winds out there this morning. Nothing too crazy, not a big region-wide windstorm by any stretch of the imagination. And you can see that low-pressure center filling off the coastline there. So we're going to have some blustery conditions at times, but again, no big windstorm. And you can see that next storm system impact California as we start to bring some ridging towards Pacific Northwest at the end of the period. If we look at the European max 10-meter accumulated wind gusts, so put this into motion, and this is going on through tonight. And tomorrow it is showing some gusty winds across some of southwest Washington and the Willamette Valley on the European as that low is going to be pinwheeling off the coast. So heads up for that. You could get some gusts up towards 40. It is showing for some of the Willamette Valley or southwest Washington. And then you can kind of see we'll put an end to that stronger wind threat, I should say. There are no wind advisories or wind warnings out right now. Now looking at significant wave height. So as we go through this morning, you can see we're going to have the waves start to increase here as we go through this afternoon and evening, maybe peaking some point tomorrow morning here, and some elevated wave heights there. You're going to watch out. Don't turn your back on the ocean here for the next few days. Then we get kind of a break here as we go through the weekend and on in through the early portion of next week. We're going to start to relax that. But we have some signs of another system coming in here as we go through next week. We'll visit that in a moment. Now, taking a look at the 500 millibar heights on the European, we'll look at the extended right now. So here's that system we're dealing with currently. That one fills, drops down to California. Then the ridging built in here. We may get a few nice days out of this after all. But of course, it is just early April, and there's not going to be a trough too far off. And you can see it showing up here as we go on into the following Wednesday here on into Thursday. So we'll be watching that one closely as we go off into the future days here. This is National Blend of Models. This is for today, somewhere right around average, maybe peeking out a couple sun breaks here between some of the showers. Tomorrow about 54, a little below average. By Friday, we start to bounce back a little. Then Saturday, a little bit more. There's Sunday, maybe 60, some mid 60s for the Willamette Valley. Starting to warm up east of the Cascades, especially the lower elevations as well. And look at Monday and Tuesday here. Not bad out there. Hopefully we can get a few nice days out of this stretch before maybe we start to bring another trough through next week. And if we look at the European on the left versus the GFS on the right, pretty good model agreement. You know, the frontal system is passing as we go through the day today, and the showery weather is going to really be with us through tomorrow. Pretty widespread shower activity tomorrow. And then Friday, kind of the hit and miss stuff going on still. You can kind of see it both on the European and the GFS. Pretty good model agreement on the position of the low and kind of keeping the troughing around, kind of keeping that shower activity going. But then we dry out for a couple days. So a good model agreement there also. Then the next system tries to start to slide into British Columbia as we go on in through Monday night into Tuesday. Now, looking at the European total snow 10-to-1 ratio, we are going to have these showers around, and the frontal system is bringing some snowfall, but it's nothing too crazy. And then as we scroll through Thursday, we're going to, again, have some multiple rounds of snowfall. Nothing too extremely heavy, though. And then Friday, that should be wrapping up for the higher terrain as we head on in towards the weekend. So, you know, beggars can't be choosers in this kind of a lackluster snow year across Washington, Idaho, and Montana, and a lot of British Columbia. So we'll take what we can get. Looking at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook through April 5th here, still have that above average signal across some of the Pacific Northwest. 6 to 10 day precipitation, kind of bullseye across the Southwest. And 8 to 14 day, kind of showing up a cooler signal here as we go on into April 9th. And this is the 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook, kind of a near normal right up against the coastline areas there. Now, if we look at percent of the average precipitation since the water year started, you can see how quite a bit of Washington is actually in a pretty good precipitation deficit, including a lot of Idaho and some of western Montana. Oregon not doing quite as bad. And some of the Cascades have been doing quite well here. But you can see that a lot of Washington and BC have not been doing that well. If you look here, that's some areas are actually between 50 and 70% of normal precipitation. So that's not good. That's why we're still kind of have some abnormally dry and some moderate drought conditions out there. And you can see the yellow would be between 90 and 100%. The next level of orange there would be between 70 and 90% here. So just a heads up for that. And you can see much of the West has actually been above average. A couple spots across the Oregon Cascades and some of Oregon has been slightly below, but much of the region here has been above, and that kind of plays into some of the drought conditions as well. It's not just rainfall. It's taking into account, you know, snow across some of the higher terrain and temperatures as well. So anyway, yeah, eyes on the sky today, guys. Watch out for that thunderstorm threat today and tomorrow. Pretty widespread shower activity going on. Then we may do a few showers on Friday before we start to build a ridge here, and then maybe get some nice weather back in here as we go towards the end of the weekend and on in through next week. But anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. We will do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.